Is he going to fight this summer? Is that the plan?
Yeah, the plan is to fight John this summer. Obviously, when, where, and all that stuff is being determined. And yeah, my goal this year is to make that fight.
Dana White has finally revealed the timeline for the highly anticipated fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, and it's not too far away.
Jones will fight anybody, too.
Okay.
Do you know?
I know he's not scared of anybody. He's the greatest ever. No, he's the greatest ever. I'm talking about does he want to do it? You know, because we know he can beat anybody. Does he want to do it?
He does want to do it.
The long-awaited fight between Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones appears to be on the horizon, marking a significant moment in the UFC's heavyweight division. Fans have been eager to see the two champions square off ever since Aspinall secured the interim heavyweight title, but Jones has remained reluctant to engage in the fight. After successfully defending his title against Stipe Miocic, Jones hinted at retirement, leaving many to wonder whether he would step into the octagon again. However, recent statements from UFC president Dana White suggest that the highly anticipated bout is being planned for this summer, though specific details regarding the date and location are still being finalized.
You mentioned Jon Jones. Is he going to fight this summer? Is that the plan?
Yeah, the plan is to fight John this summer. Obviously, when, where, and all that stuff is being determined. And yeah, my goal this year is to make that fight.
Your goal is to make which fight, though? Tom Aspinall or somebody else?
Aspinall.
This is not the first time he has expressed confidence in making it happen, previously stating that it was expected to take place in 2025. However, his latest comments have sparked even more excitement due to an additional announcement involving Alex Pereira. Pereira, currently reigning as the UFC light heavyweight champion, has consistently demonstrated his dominance within the division. His impressive track record has fueled speculation about a potential move to the heavyweight division, something he has openly expressed interest in. To prepare for such a transition, Pereira has even avoided training with Jones, suggesting that he is keeping his options open for a future showdown.
And then I know, obviously, like, you don't want to look past the fight ahead of you, but if you had your choice down the road, would you rather have a fight with Dricus at 205 or Jon Jones at heavyweight?
Well, not looking too past ahead, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, these things didn't come to my mind which one, but what I think for the future that I have in hand is either Dricus or Jon Jones, or even fighting Alexander Usyk in boxing. Those I see possibly happen. There's a possibility. Doesn't depend on me. It depends on the UFC. So whatever the UFC want me to do, I'll do it.
White's recent remarks indicate that Pereira could be next in line for a heavyweight title shot, provided he defeats Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 313. Should he emerge victorious, he would face the winner of the Jones versus Aspinall fight, setting up another massive bout for the UFC.
The Pereira fight is this weekend. This guy wants to move up to heavyweight and fight at heavyweight too.
If Alex wins, could he move up and fight Jones?
He wants to. He wants to. Well, I'll have to. Let's see how this fight plays out. The fight that everybody wants to see right now is Jones and Aspinall. And then there's no doubt that Pereira could fight the winner.
Despite White's determination to make the fight happen, uncertainty has surrounded Jones's willingness to defend his title against Aspinall. Jones has repeatedly expressed reluctance toward the matchup and, at one point, even suggested that he would rather relinquish the belt in favor of a fight with Pereira. Meanwhile, Aspinall has remained vocal about his desire to unify the heavyweight championship. The British fighter has been clear in his stance that he considers himself the best heavyweight in the world, and his primary goal is to make it official by defeating Jones. However, he has also acknowledged the uncertainty surrounding Jones's decision-making and has expressed skepticism about whether the fight will actually happen. His frustration has been evident, particularly when discussing the possibility of waiting too long for the fight to materialize.
Remember what I said quite a while ago now? I will retire Jon Jones without even fighting him. That's something that I said. And John, let's do it. If you want to do it, you don't have to ask me twice. If not, I'll fight somebody else for the undisputed belt. Happy to fight anybody, anytime, anywhere, doesn't matter, I'm ready to go. The UFC is about one guy being the champion of each division. I defended the interim once already. It's almost unheard of, that. It's unprecedented. I thought it was silly the first time, to be honest. The reason that I did it, the first time I fought Curtis Blades, it went down as a loss. I got injured. worst moment of my career, one of the worst moments of my life. I wanted to redeem myself and get the legit victory against Curtis Blades because it was unfinished business. Like, that was hurting my ego, and I wanted to prove that I was better than Blades, which I did in the rematch, and I defended the interim. Something else, that particular fight was in Manchester, in my hometown. I wanted to fight in my hometown. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do that again in front of a sold out, brand new Co-op Live arena in Manchester, England. I don't know if I'm ever going to have the opportunity to do that again. So for them two reasons, that's why I defended the interim. I'm not doing it again. Like, I've cleared out the rest of the division, undisputed, and that's it. I deserve a shot at being known as the best heavyweight walking around on planet Earth. It doesn't matter on the opponent. Undisputed next.
Jon Jones's manager, Malki Kawa, recently addressed the ongoing discussions surrounding the highly anticipated fight. According to Kawa, negotiations have been an ongoing process, with all parties involved working to make the fight happen. However, he acknowledged that several factors need to align for the bout to be finalized. He suggested that while there is collective interest in making the fight a reality, it ultimately depends on whether everyone agrees on key terms. If all sides come to an agreement, then the fight is likely to move forward.
We sit in negotiations all day long and we talk about things all day long, right? And I think that everybody that's involved in anything to do with any of this stuff wants all these fights to happen, right? I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Do you think it happens?
I think that it depends on certain things and whether or not everybody want to make those certain things happen. And if the answer to everybody else is yes, those certain things happen, then yes, the fight will happen.
Beyond the negotiations, Kawa also expressed strong opinions about Jones' standing in the UFC. He made it clear that he takes issue with anyone who does not rank Jones as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. From his perspective, Jones' accomplishments, level of competition, and championship longevity set him apart from every other fighter in the sport. He pointed out that throughout his career, Jones has faced and defeated some of the toughest opponents in UFC history, making his case for being recognized as the best even stronger. While Jones remains an active fighter, Kawa firmly believes he should hold the top spot in the rankings as a sign of respect for everything he has achieved.
He's the best in the world. I take it personal when people don't have him won in the pound-for-pound rankings. I think that while he's active as a fighter, he should be #1. I think, out of respect to what he's done, he has had the toughest strength of schedule that I think anybody in the history of the sport has had, especially as a champion. He's had the longevity as a champion that no one else has had. And I think whenever he's active, whether that means once a year or twice a year, he should be considered the #1 fighter in the world.
Moreover, Chael Sonnen believes that if Alex Pereira loses to Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 313, he could move up to heavyweight and face Tom Aspinall instead of Jon Jones. Sonnen compared this potential move to Pereira's previous jump from middleweight to light heavyweight after losing to Israel Adesanya. Given Ankalaev's strong wrestling, Sonnen sees an upset as possible. If Pereira loses, the UFC might book him against Aspinall for the interim title, with the winner earning a shot at Jones. This would allow Pereira to remain in contention while ensuring Jones fights the top contender.
Many of you forgot how Pierre became a light heavyweight. I even hear commentators in the sport say it. They believe that Pierre cleaned out the middleweight division and was so big that he moved up to light heavyweight. They're wrong. Pierre lost at middleweight. He was no longer the champion. The most likely and easiest way to get Pierre to heavyweight is not that he beats Ankalaev and has nothing left to do and cleans out the division. Your most likely way is for Ankalaev to beat him. As frustrated as you guys might be with Jon right now, Jones will not sidestep Aspinall to fight Pierre. Jon does have a code, and Jon will, when he fights, fight the best guy. But there is a chance that if both those guys are in the same weight class, Jon says, you two go figure out who the best guy is. Bring me the winner. Pierre, you and Aspinall, go do that thing for that interim title. Let me know who the winner is. The Aspinall-Pierre conversation is not only likely, it's very likely gonna happen soon.
Ahead of UFC 313, Pereira has claimed to have a secret technique to counter Ankalaev's grappling. However, Sonnen remains skeptical, dismissing it as a recycled tactic and doubting that Pereira has developed anything groundbreaking.
You want to know where Pereira got this, by the way? He got this in his last fight from Khalil Roundtree. If you'll remember, the week of the fight, Khalil starts going to the media claiming to have a secret technique. an unveiled and secret technique that we will only find out when the fight begins. I mean, it was a level of silliness. I mean, Joe Rogan and they won't even know what it's called when they see it. I made this move up. There was no move. There was no made-up move. There was no run up the fence, jump in the air, flip around. You made the whole thing up, and I feel like Pierre had just grabbed the line from his former opponent, and now he's trying to give it to him. I'll have a surprise for you. Oh, let me guess. You're going to try to stretch him out or try to choke him out. I mean, let me guess. There's only so many options on the ground. It's like music. There's only so many notes.
But Michael Bisping is not at all in favor of Alex Pereira getting a shot at Jon Jones before Tom Aspinall. While he acknowledges the appeal of the matchup, he strongly believes that Aspinall has earned his place as the rightful next challenger for the heavyweight title and should not be overlooked. He stated, Pereira, if he's successful this weekend, a super fight with Jon Jones does materialize. Maybe he fights Tom Aspinall. If you're Pereira, you don't want to go up against the interim champ, and that's no disrespect to Tom. You want the undisputed. During an episode of the Believe You Me podcast, Bisping discussed the possibility of Pereira moving up to face Jones if he secures a victory at UFC 313, while he admitted that a super fight between Jones and Pereira could generate significant interest. He pointed out that from Pereira's perspective, it would make more sense to challenge for the undisputed title rather than face the interim champion, Aspinall. His co-host Paul Felder predicted that if Pereira wins on Saturday, he would immediately call out Jones for a heavyweight showdown.
Yeah, if Pereira wins on Saturday, he's calling out Jon Jones.
You think so?
Why not? You know Jon wants the fight.
Bisping was visibly frustrated by the idea, arguing that it would be completely unfair to Aspinall. In his view, there should be no debate about who deserves the next title shot. Aspinall has already established himself as the top contender. He acknowledged that the UFC has a history of prioritizing fights that generate the most excitement among fans. And if Pereira were to deliver another spectacular knockout, there would undoubtedly be a strong push for him to challenge Jones. Given Pereira's rapid rise in popularity and his dominance across multiple weight classes, a fight with Jones could be seen as an intriguing storyline, especially considering Jones's history as a former light heavyweight champion.
That would suck for Tom, because Tom should be the next man in line. Tom is the next man in line. But the UFC have always done a really good job of giving the fans what they want. I'm not building a narrative for this fight to happen, by the way. I'm just saying, historically, that's what we always see.
However, Bisping made it clear that if the UFC were to go in that direction, it would be a major injustice to Aspinall. He emphasized that Aspinall has already put in the work to position himself as the next challenger and should not be forced to take a back seat simply because Pereira's name carries more hype at the moment. From his perspective, any scenario where Pereira jumps ahead of Aspinall for a title shot would be a disservice to the integrity of the division. Bisping concluded, if Pereira, who is really popular, who is on a tear, who has taken over the sport, gets another viral knockout, and if everyone online is going, I want to see this fight, undisputed light heavyweight that's cleared out the division, which is Jon's old title, against Jon Jones at heavyweight, it would be so out of order to Tom Aspinall. Coming to the predictions for Aspinall and Jones, Joe Rogan made it clear that he still believes Jon Jones is the best heavyweight in the world. When Brendan Schaub suggested that Tom Aspinall holds that title, Rogan quickly pushed back, pointing out that Jones could very well come out on top if they fought. He argued that there's a strong possibility Jones could dominate Aspinall, stating that he might take him down and completely control him on the ground. Joe stated, who knows, maybe Jon beats him, Jon might beat him up, he could take him down, and ragdoll him on the ground. Rogan also raised concerns about Aspinall's endurance in a longer fight. While many consider the interim champion one of the most well-rounded heavyweights in the division, Rogan highlighted the unknown factor in his game, his ability to perform in the later rounds. He pointed out that no one has ever pushed Aspinall into deep waters, making it impossible to predict how he would hold up in a grueling championship fight. Rogan further added, we also don't know what happens to Tom Aspinall in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. Stipe Miocic has a good idea of what Tom Aspinall should expect if he steps into the octagon against Jon Jones later this year. Reflecting on his own experience, Miocic jokingly advised Aspinall to avoid making the same mistakes he did. Acknowledging Aspinall's strengths, Miocic praised his power, movement, and overall skill set, emphasizing that his size and athleticism make him a dangerous opponent. However, he believes that the key for Aspinall will be to remain composed under pressure, staying calm in high-stakes moments and making smart decisions in the fight. fight will be crucial to his success. If Aspinall remains patient, picks his shots carefully, and executes a smart game plan, Miocic feels that he has what it takes to hold his own against Jones.
Get booked with him and John Jones. What's the best advice you'd give Tom Aspinall?
Don't do what I did.
Avoid the liver shot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do? But I think Tommy, that guy, he's super tough and he hits hard. He moves well. He's a big man. I think that he stays calm on the situation, and whatever happens, he just stays calm. I think he'll be fine. He pitches shots. He's smart what he does, and I think he'll do fine.
UFC middleweight champion Dricus du Plessis recently included John Jones on his list of the top 5 greatest fighters of all time. However, despite acknowledging Jones's greatness, he admitted that he isn't particularly eager to see the highly anticipated showdown between Jones and Tom Aspinall.
If you ask me that, I say, no. We've said that so many times with John Jones, and it makes it look easy. He is the greatest of all time, for sure. You can't deny that up until now, up until this date, where fighting exists, he is the GOAT.
Dricus holds great respect for both Tom Aspinall and John Jones, but admits he isn't eager to see them face off, as it means one of them will have to lose. He views Aspinall as the future of the heavyweight division, praising his well-rounded skill set and dominance in the cage. However, he also believes that Jones, who has remained unbeaten in his career, aside from a controversial disqualification, deserves to retire with his perfect record intact.
Aspinall is young, he's hungry. You have Jones, who is definitely at the end of his career, 38 years old. I don't need to see this because he's never been beaten. So I don't need to see John Jones fight Aspinall because I don't want either one of them to lose. I want John Jones to retire unbeaten. Of course, he had that DQ for 12-6, which is now legal, but unbeaten and the legend that he is. And I want him to retire and Aspinall goes on to be the next big thing.
While du Plessis would prefer to see Jones walk away undefeated and allow Aspinall to take over as the new face of the division, he acknowledges that the fight is inevitable. Jones, always a competitor, has expressed his willingness to take on Aspinall if the deal makes sense financially. Meanwhile, Aspinall has been vocal about his desire to unify the heavyweight title and prove himself as the best in the world.
But John Jones, being the warrior that he says, pay me enough and I'm doing it. Aspinall wants it, and one of them has to lose that fight. And that's the one thing, you look at it and you go, Aspinall's probably going to win.
Cain Velasquez shared his thoughts on Tom Aspinall's chances against John Jones. The former UFC heavyweight champion expressed skepticism about Aspinall's ability to defeat Jones, pointing to patterns he has observed in Aspinall's striking. Velasquez noted that Jones is a meticulous strategist who thoroughly studies his opponents, breaking down their tendencies and weaknesses. Given Jones's ability to analyze and adapt, Velasquez believes the reigning champion would find a way to neutralize Aspinall's offense and secure a victory. He stated, "No, I don't think he does beat John Jones. So me, just watching him, I kind of see his pattern a little bit in his striking, the way he comes in and strikes. I think John sees it too, so I think with that just cause John studies, he does his homework, he's a master at this, he analyzes things, he studies you over and over again. I think just for that reason, he's going to know what to do. So I don't think Aspinall beats John." As UFC 313 approaches, all eyes will be on Pereira and Ankalaev, as the outcome of their fight could significantly impact the direction of the heavyweight division. If Pereira secures another title defense, the stage will be set for one of the biggest fights in recent history. So what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.